Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Let's take a preview of the docket. First, are the Delphi murders solved? Don't get in cars with strangers. And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. You know the drill. My name is Scott. This is Crime Talk. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell for notifications. And remember, you can always listen to us on your favorite podcasting app anytime. Just simply search Crime Talk with Scott Reich. Now, before we get to the good stuff, we got to pay the bills. Okay. Please go to CrimeTalkSearch.com. Why is that important? Because you need to know with whom you are dealing with. If you're meeting somebody new, maybe there's somebody coming into your family member's life that you want to check out, this is the place to do it. Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, and literally while you wait, a background search is conducted online. You get the result while you wait, and it is going to give you information that's going to show social media that is associated with the person that you're searching, emails associated with the person you are searching. Why is that important? Well, if they have multiple email accounts, why do they have multiple social media accounts and they didn't tell you about the other accounts? Is it because, well, I don't know, something else going on? Check them out. You're also going to receive information regarding convictions. You're going to receive records relating to bankruptcies, property records, marital records in most states, and you're going to be able to determine if somebody, well, if they have an extensive criminal history or nothing at all. Things that you want to know about an individual. Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com. Sign up for your background subscription service today. You'll be happy you did. And remember, whether you're searching one person or one person a day, it's all the same fee, and you can cancel at any time. CrimeTalkSearch.com. All right, let's go ahead and open the docket for Wednesday, May 18th of 2022. Okay, now some new information has been released, and the question is, are the Delphi murders solved? Well, for those of you who don't recall, back on February 13 of 2017, Abby Williams and Libby German went for a walk on the Monon High Bridge Trail. A family member was supposed to pick them up in the afternoon. However, they never arrived, setting off a frantic search that ended the next day when the girls' bodies were found. Evidence released to the public included a photo of a heavyset suspect in a blue jacket and brief audio of a man's voice saying, "Down the hill." Investigators have long believed that the individual in the video participated in the murders. The girls' deceased bodies were on property owned by a man by the name of Ron Logan, and that was about 1,400 feet from Logan's residence. Now, police wanted to search Ron Logan's property because of the large amount of blood that the victims at the scene had lost. And since there was so much blood, the FBI believed that the perpetrator would have had blood on their body, their hands, or their clothing, right? So a search warrant reveals new details that the investigators had into their 2017 murder investigation related to Abby Williams and Libby German. The search warrant was executed on March 17th of 2017. Now, the search warrant has revealed that recordings from Libby German's phone lasted approximately 43 seconds, of which only a fraction of which has been made public. It's believed to be that the remaining portion of it is rather graphic. Now, the murderer likely took a souvenir from the crime scene, according to the affidavit, and it appears that the girls' bodies were moved or actually staged. And there's also no indication as to what was missing, at least in the affidavit. It is noted that the rest of their clothing was in fact recovered. There's also, according to the affidavit, no signs of a struggle or a fight put up by the girls, and the agents suspected the murderer physically removed something or took photos to memorialize the crime scene. Investigators also recovered unknown fibers and unidentified hairs at the scene. The agents wrote in the affidavit that Logan's physical build appeared to be consistent with that of the man seen on the video. As you may recall, there was a brief video of somebody following the girls on the bridge. Now, the women interviewed that are familiar with Mr. Logan said that he'd been violent with them in the past, and one of them also made the remarks that she was frightened of him. Both women told investigators that they thought that that was Logan in the video. Remember the man in the blue jacket? Very interesting, right? The FBI also did some tests, and they state in the affidavit that Mr. Logan's voice is not inconsistent with that of the person in the video and audio recording. The FBI believes that Logan also lied about his alibi. It is alleged that Logan told investigators a friend picked him up from home on February 13th between 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. so he could go to an aquarium store in Lafayette, Indiana. He contacted a family member on February 14th and instructed them to tell the police about the trip. He also asked family members to say they'd returned home between 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Investigators did find a receipt from the store dated February 13th with a checkout time of 5:21 p.m. during a March 6, 2017 search related to a probation violation. It would take Mr. Logan about 30 minutes to get from the store to his home, putting the 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. return timeline in doubt as to his alibi. The FBI believed Logan lied and made statements that were found to be factually false and intentionally designed to deceive law enforcement. The person who Logan said had driven him to the aquarium store confirmed the trip with an investigator during an interview going back to March 7th. 2 days later, during an interview with a different investigator, the individual told police he lied during the March 7th interview because Logan had asked him to do so. The person said Logan had never asked him to lie in the past. It appeared Logan asked the family member to lie about the alibi before any crime had actually been discovered. Now, police also learned Logan drove a pickup truck to the transfer station in Delphi to drop off trash on February 13th, likely between 11:53 a.m. and 11:58 a.m. The admission led to the investigation into his probation violation, as Logan was on probation, in fact parole, as a habitual traffic offender and shouldn't have been driving. It was also revealed that cell phone data tower showed Logan's cell phone was in Delphi in the area near the Monon High Bridge Trail on the afternoon of February 13th. A text message sent from his phone at 7:56 p.m. on February 13th indicated the phone was likely outside of his residence and in the proximity of the murder scene. Just days after the murders, Logan led reporters on a tour of his property and took them to the crime scene, and he said he lived on the property for 50 years and couldn't fathom how any of the girls could have reached that area where they were in fact found. Now, Mr. Logan died in January of 2020. He was never named a suspect or charged in the Delphi murders, and obviously we will give him the presumption of innocence. We're simply reporting what was in the newly released affidavit. Now, as you may also recall, there have been other men who have been listed as possible suspects in the murder, including this gentleman, Keegan Klein, 27, of Peru, Indiana, and he was named as a possible suspect in the girl's murder. He is said to have admitted talking to Libby German using a fake Instagram profile called Anthony Schatz. The suspected pedophile, who is heavyset and pasty-faced, used an image of a ripped and muscular young man to trick underage girls into speaking with him. Klein is said to have arranged to meet Libby on the Delphi High Bridge the day before she was murdered while walking along it. Now, there's also James Chadwell. He's 43, and he's been characterized as absolutely evil by his own brother. Mr. Chadwell was added as a suspect in 2021 after he was arrested and convicted for luring a 9-year-old girl to his home where he sexually assaulted and strangled her in his basement 20 miles from where Abby and Libby were murdered. The girl survived, and Chadwell is currently serving a 90-year sentence for the attack. In an interview with Inside Edition in 2021, Chadwell's brother characterized him as being an absolutely evil person, a monster, and more than capable of the Delphi murders. Authorities have released no connection between Chadwell and the Delphi murders. Then we have Thomas Bruce, a killer and former pastor, resembled the man in the Delphi video. Now, Bruce was charged with fatally shooting one woman and sexually assaulting two others at a Catholic supply store in St. Louis, Missouri, back in November of 2018. Bruce was noted for having a similar stature to the man seen in the Delphi video and also wore similar clothes during his St. Louis crime as the man in the video Libby and Abby took. Indiana police looked into Bruce in connection to the Delphi murders, but no charges were ever filed. He is currently serving a life sentence in St. Louis. Then we have Charles Eldridge. He was arrested in Union City, Indiana in 2019 after he arranged to meet somebody he thought was a teenager for sex. Eldridge bore a striking resemblance to a preliminary police sketch of the Delphi suspect that was released by authorities. It was later updated, shown a clean-shaven man. He was charged with child molestation and was linked to the Delphi murders because of his strong resemblance to the man in the Delphi video. And a preliminary police sketch investigators had circulated of the suspect. Police say they ruled out Eldridge as a suspect and that he did not match an updated sketch of the suspect. Then we have John D. Miller. He was arrested in 2018 for the 1988 murder for an 8-year-old girl and threatened to kill again over the years. In the years before his arrest, Miller had left numerous notes in the public places saying the killer of Tinsley would strike again. The note read, "I kill 8-year-old April Marie Tinsley. I will kill again." No charges have ever been issued against Miller in relation to the Delphi case. And then we have Daniel Nations. He's a registered Indiana sex offender, and he was arrested in Colorado in September of 2017 after threatening hikers with a hatchet. It was also reported that a cyclist was murdered on the same trail around the same time Nations was threatening the hikers. Now, Nations was connected to the Delphi murder because of his similarities between the crime and because he bore a strong resemblance to the preliminary police sketch of the Delphi suspect. Police cleared Nations as a suspect. No one has been charged in connection with the Delphi murders, and all of the individuals discussed here are given the presumption of innocence. All right, next on the docket. This is why we don't get into cars with strangers, ladies and gentlemen. Kane Fairbank was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, and 1 count of kidnapping, according to police. He's currently being held without bail. On Thursday of last week, Mr. Frederick allegedly met a woman on a Tinder app and coerced her into his vehicle in Mueller Park in Bountiful, Utah, where she stayed for several hours. Shortly after 6:30 p.m., he allegedly stabbed the unidentified woman while inside the vehicle. Fairbank then began attacking her with a knife, stabbing her multiple times. She sustained significant injuries to her hands, neck, and face, and the detective wrote that in the affidavit. The victim fought back, broke away, and was able to flag down a nearby witness. The witnesses created a barrier between the woman and Fairbank, who allegedly fled the scene and drove to a nearby gas station. Once there, he allegedly abandoned his vehicle and fled to a neighborhood before stabbing a 64-year-old woman. A Good Samaritan spotted Fairbank and detained him until police arrived and took him into custody. Now, this is the scary part. While speaking with investigators, Fairbank allegedly said he planned to kill other people. He further stated he'd been planning since he started interacting with her on Tinder. Now, Fairbanks states that he invited the victim, number one, to the park with the intent to lure her into his car and ultimately killing her. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. Just be careful out there. Be careful. Don't get into cars with strangers. We tell children not to do that. Adults need to follow that same advice. And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Okay? Maybe a dumb criminal with a bit of a sense of humor, though. We got to give him that. Okay, everybody's heard of Johnny Cash, and some people could say he's possibly the greatest country singer ever. I don't know about that, but he's up there. Because he was so famous and his hometown in Arkansas was so proud of him that they put a silhouette of Johnny Cash on a water tower. And what did somebody decide to do? They decided to enhance the image with a bullet. That's right. The bullet hit squarely on Johnny Cash's junk, penetrating the water tower in the process, and now it looks like Johnny Cash is taking a never-ending leak. Well, the city of 500 that just wanted to honor Johnny Cash says that the singer has been taking a leak for over a week because there's 50,000 gallons of water in the water tank. Law enforcement is on the hunt for the culprit, who is going to possibly face felony charges for tampering with the tower. Now, obviously, that's an expensive fix for the city. Going to be some serious restitution. I guess the question that needs to be asked, was it complete great shooting, or was it just complete luck that got Johnny in the junk? Anyway, it is kind of funny watching Johnny Cash take a pee on his hometown there in Arkansas. All right, that's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk.